good afternoon, everyone, and welcome for this session around digital transformation in industries. I'm glad that you join us for this fantastic panel that I have the privilege to host with my fellow participants, so Guillermo, Chao, Jack, and Jürgen. I will give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, the company they work for, but also how do they drive digital transformation in their industries in a few minutes. Why are we here today is that digital transformation in industries is a priority for most industries. We are in industries, and Schneider is an industrial company, but like most of you and all the participants, we are operating in a very constrained environment. Workforce shortage, supply chain challenges, energy crisis. And then when it goes back to the operations, this is where also you are looking for efficiency, much more agility, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at where executives are focusing their time, it's really about how do I bring more to my client, focus on sustainability, and drive efficiency. Now, on the other side, only 26% of industrial companies are actually already reaping the benefits of their transformation. And I think that we have on the panel today some companies who are part of this 26%, and they will be sharing with you how they have started their journey and what are the steps that they have taken to achieve tangible results across their operations. So I have with me Guillermo. Guillermo, if you want to say a few words about yourself and Acciona.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, everyone. Very, very good to be here. My name is Guillermo, and I work for Acciona. Within Acciona, I work for the water division, and I am responsible for the operations and maintenance of all desalination plants in the Middle East and Australia. So I typically reside in Doha, and yep, I've been an active part of the digital transformation in Acciona because we've been championing some of those digital solutions from the team that I lead, and yeah, I'd be very, very keen to share.
Thank you,
our knowledge.
Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you for joining us. So we have also Chao Li from Nexans.
Thank you, Anthony. Hello, everyone. My name is Chao Li. I'm leading the digital transformation in Nexans. Nexans is designing and producing cable and services. We actually have a global industrial implementation in over 40 countries. And our focus now is really focused on the global electrification business. I'm here to share how Nexans is going through digital transformation. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chao. We have also Jack Newland from Roca Group.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Jack Newland. I am the Director of Digital Transformation and IT at Roca Group. We are a bathroom producer. We produce everything for your bathroom, so we have different types of production. In my role of Digital Transformation Director, one of the priorities to support operational excellence and sustainability using technology, and that's where we are collaborating with Schneider Electric on a program to digitize factories.
Thank you, Jacques. And I have the privilege to have my colleague Jürgen Weichenberger from Schneider and leading AI. So,
thank you, Anthony, and pleasure to be here. So good afternoon to everyone. As Anthony said, I'm part of the Schneider AI Hub, and I am responsible for the strategy and innovation. So meaning not what we're doing today in many projects with Anthony, but lots of things we're going to do tomorrow. But I'm not completely out of the day-to-day business with the customers. I was previously responsible for our direct customer business with artificial intelligence. So I was working with many of my fellow panelists here on various types of projects, how we enable digital transformation by unlocking the value in data.
Thank you, Jürgen. So we will take you through a journey. And the idea is that there is really no finish line on this journey. And so we will share with you some experience on, how to start your transformation, how to get organized, but then also how to reap the benefit on this transformation. And for that, I will start with you, Jacques. We'd like to understand a bit more from you. How did you get organized, the very beginning of Roca Group digital transformation?
Yeah, okay. It all started with the new strategy, which has 6 pillars. One of them is sustainability, and one other is operational excellence. So we started collaborating with Schneider Electric on the sustainability area, where we said, okay, we need to measure our emissions, we need to reduce our emissions, and we started sensorizing factories to be able to measure and then to act on the emissions and reduce them. That was the first step. We implemented some systems for that, and then we saw, okay, but there is much more to that, and we started knowing each other and visited some factories in Le Vaudreuil and saw some success stories that made us think, okay, we really can have much more benefits. We need to work on operational excellence, on efficiency, and then we started studying the solutions of the Aveva portfolio and how can we improve operational excellence, how can we measure what we are doing in the factories, how can we use our assets better, how can we understand why we have standstills on one hand, and then on the other hand, how can we measure this production data and join it with energy consumption and have insights on how are we using or how can we optimize our energy consumption, and on the third part, also increasing efficiency in the daily execution of the daily kaizens of the operation. So we started by an exploration together, understanding the journey Schneider Electric has done in all of their factories, understanding what it needs, and building, doing an initial assessment, building a few use cases, selecting these use cases, calculating the ROI, partnering a lot between production and digital transformation, IT, building bridges, building an understanding and objectives, and then choosing 2 sites where we think we can pilot, we can verify if these use cases, if these business cases are fulfilled before we go up to another speed and roll out worldwide. So we want to have a set of standards and cases, how we measure OEE, how we monitor energy, and how we execute the daily Kaizen, set that up, and then verify and roll out.
Thank you, Jacques. So now if we move on a bit, and if we speak about Nexans, we started this transformation now a few years ago. We'd like to understand what's the level of maturity that you achieved today. We'll speak later about what's your future plan, but also what are the main actions that you have launched in terms of organization, site selection, use case selection that help you achieve also the first phases of your transformation, Chao?
For sure. So probably I just want to go back a little bit in the past because, like you said, it's a journey. Nexans has embarked on its digital journey very early, like in 2016, and we did a lot of proof concept, we did a lot of local taps. It was beneficial at the beginning because it helped us to try new technologies and also start to unmystify the digitalization, this notion inside the company. However, very soon we see the limit because every time I want to duplicate one successful story in another plant, we just cannot make it. And that's how the partnership between Nexans and Schneider started. Actually, we started the partnership in 2021, and clearly this has marked a turning point in Nexans. So from this, we changed from this proof of concept approach to a group level cross-functional program approach. So what did we do? Actually, we have gone through 3 main stages. The first stage is, like Jacques said, is the pilot phase. We have choose 2 pilot factories, one in France, one in Sweden, where we built and deploy some use cases to improve the performance, to improve the energy efficiency, to improve the performance animation routine in our company. Well, simultaneously, at the same time, we start thinking about already the global picture. For example, what should be the global IT/OT architecture? What should be the data model? What should be the end-game organization structure? So this pilot phase was very key for us to try the use case, but also to think about the big picture. And after the pilot phase, we have go through a stabilization phase or industrialization phase, with 3 more deployments additional, where we mainly focus on the use case fine-tuning and also to industrialize our way of deployment. And the successful of this stabilization phase leads to acceleration deployment, which is where we are at the moment, because currently we have more than 20 factories which have embraced the program. And our objective is to cover all the electrification facilities by the end of 2025. So we are talking about 45 factories. And like you said, how we design our program and what do we provide to our factory in the program. First, very, very importantly, as Jack said, we focused on the fundamental areas, the IT/OT integration, and for sure with cybersecurity, and also people-related topic as skill, as organization. And secondly, we provide a package of standard use case, which will be deployed everywhere in our facilities. And additionally, we also propose a portfolio of additional use cases such as predictive maintenance, such as the full module of MES. And for this use case, we only recommend to the factory where we can fund the return investment. So for the additional use cases, we are very, very based on the return investment consideration.
Thank you, Chao. So we are turning now to a different value chain, but a value chain which is important to all of us. It's about water. So at Acciona, your end customers, end users will be municipalities, will be everyday people consuming the water that you will be desalinating. Would like to understand what the values that you deliver through digital transformation across this value chain. What are, let's say, the key element of this value chain that you want to impact thanks to digital transformation?
Thanks, Anthony. Well, I mean, I guess that if we look at it, everyone would immediately assume that digitalization would bring values such as improved energy efficiency, which it does, improved chemical consumption, which it does. But then you start looking into more areas and more added value that digitization can bring to your organization. And there's two that I would like to highlight. One is OH&S, or human factors engineering, which is called lately in the industry, and it is about reducing the possibility of a human error. I mean, we can be in the control room and we can have our control room operators receiving sometimes, if things start to go wrong, 15 alarms per minute. And it's impossible for a human to adequately process 15 alarms generated in 1 minute. Digitization allows us to filter those alarms, to really take out the noise, remove the noise, so that they can truly focus on what's important. And the other thing I would probably like to highlight is that in the operations world, I like to describe what I do. I need to try to make things as boring as possible. The more boring the operation is, the better the operation is. You don't want excitement. You want a stable, constant revenue. You want really for things to be predictable. And the adoption of technology can really signify for the team an additional challenge, an additional sort of an additional thing that makes them want to come to work and be engaged and be actively participating in the things that are going on without jeopardizing what's truly important, which is the stability of the production, the water quality, and the safety of the plants.
Thank you. So we see here different phases in the journey. Now, when I will be turning to you, Jürgen, all our clients are connecting assets, acquiring information, and after the first phases of visualization, worker engagements, as you say, a certain stabilization of the process, they want to understand how can they leverage these informations to do more. Now, what's your evaluation when you work across different industries, Jürgen, of the current maturity of industrial companies to actually start deploying AI in their manufacturing operations? And can you give us maybe some customer examples, client examples, to give us really real sentiment of the current state?
Absolutely. So when we heard a lot talk about data and data collection, and the the true story lies is how do you unlock the value which lies in the data? So you mean you need to analyze the data, you need to find the truth in it, actually the story the data tells you before you can even think about now we're putting artificial intelligence on top. There were in the last 5 years many companies, I would even say fooled by certain companies telling them, you don't need to know anything about the industry, just give me the data and we do magic and everything is better. So there was lots of money spent with lots of disappointment at the end of the day, and we had pre to the panel a bit of a discussion with Guillermo, and he said exactly we went through the same story. People promised us a ton of stuff, and in a force of magic happens. So now a lot of these manufacturing companies now realizing, nope, there is no magic. It's hard work. It requires a lot of domain knowledge. So AI cannot do magic. It cannot just know what is the data, what it means the data. Only when you start adding domain knowledge to the data output you produce, then you can unlock the value in the data. And we're taking, actually it's an example also from desalination, was pure play, as we just finished the project. It was a very simple question is on how can we extend the life of the core membrane. So there's a very, very core part in the process. It's very expensive, it's very sensitive, and it's very easy to damage it. And there's a process called clean in place, so you need to clean it regularly. What we do is we sacrifice the cleaning for longer runtimes in the idea of it gives us more output. And actually, when you start to understand the domain knowledge, the dynamics in the processes around and the data, you start seeing actually a regular frequent cleaning cycle gives you more output at a lower energy rate with a longer membrane lifetime, which nobody was expecting. So it's a very thing, same as this, only when you bring the part of domain knowledge back, or even you can say the basic physics of the process, and you take away this thinking about there's magic happening with just because you use AI, then you'll be on a path to fail. If you think magic happens, you fail. You waste money and you get nowhere. If you come back to the point, okay, we start at the basics, what's the physics behind, and then build around that, you see now more and more manufacturing companies to get really successful by applying artificial intelligence. Wonderful examples in the automotive industry, how they reduce recalls for in cars, how they improve the output quality, the car, the product they deliver to the customer. And this is not happening just by somebody at the end of the line looks at it. It happens along the entire value chain from integrating suppliers. You can think about Nexans depends on lots of suppliers for the raw materials for their product. So if you integrate all of that and you wrap the analytics and the intelligence around, you improve your output stability and you improve, let's say, the customer happiness factor. And this is where the people now start to get back to, is saying it's not just, I need to have the data, it is way more you need to put into the equation to become successful. And this is where I see now a lot of manufacturing companies took the learning, they took the hard pill to swallow that they wasted money, and they're now reverting to a stable foundation, get good data, put the domain knowledge in, and you will see the success very, very quickly coming.
Thank you. So, Chao, you shared with us the first steps, the first few years, but can you share also with us some internal recipes and maybe some challenges that you had, either technical or competencies related, or tell us a bit about the hard stuff that you need to overcome and we all need to overcome when we actually do a real program that transforms factories across the globe?
No problem. For sure, the whole journey is not pink all the time. We do have difficulties, and the first one, like our said, this is first of all a transformation program. Transformation means change, because by bringing the new technologies, the new tools, we are actually changing the day-to-day life of our collaborators. So their life will change, their way of work will change, the required skill will change, and eventually even the way we organize ourselves will change. For example, if we take the maintenance team, now their focus is, okay, the machine breakdown, I need to fix it, and I also need to run the preventive maintenance, which is planned far in before. But with all the new technologies like conditional-based maintenance, even predictive maintenance with AI, their way of working will be more and more anticipation and proactive. So naturally, we need to understand that facing the change, people will be scared. People will be resistant. So means that the first challenge and the first things we need to do is accompany people, is to help people to adapt, to adopt new tools and to go through this transformation smoothly. And I need to say that on this domain, we do got lot of inspiration from Schneider. And at the beginning of the program, Schneider has helped us to truly be aware of the challenge of change management. And we got the inspiration like we are setting up some digital factory label as a motivation, as incentive inside Nexus. So every site wants to be digital sites, so they will organize themselves better to embrace this program. Another inspiration we get is we're really giving the ambassador rules, digital ambassador rules to some middle management, such as the local digital leader or local production leader. So they are somebody naturally or passionate by the digital, and they are the first people to use the tools to get this change happened, and then they will help us to bring the change to the other people in the factory. So change management is a challenge, and I'm not saying we did it. We are in the way to encounter it little by little.
Thank you. And so, Jacques, if we take a parallel also at Roca Group, how did you structure your program at the beginning, and what were maybe the few challenges you had to address and some key decisions that were taken by the group to be able to accelerate the beginning?
Yeah, so we have 80 factories worldwide in 6 different businesses, from Vitros, China, faucets, furniture, and so on. And they are quite different, and they were used, so the OT and IT world have been separated totally, and so every factory or group of factories tended to do it their own way. So I think the first thing was to say, okay, is there a benefit to do things the same way? And there are parts that are non-negotiable. We need to talk about cybersecurity. We want to separate technically the OT and the IT world. So there are things that have to be done, yes, but they are more technical. But from a business point of view, on one hand, I want to have more replicable processes. I want to be able to continuously measure, improve. And we found out, discussing with the different business area, that there are synergies, that the OEE, the digital Kaizen, and the other use cases have a lot of benefits, and there are commonalities, and this can bring us much further. So I think the initial assessment, the discussion or conversations between the different productions heads and the digital transformation with the help of Schneider consultants helped us to find a common understanding, to select a business case, to define where we want to go, and to have this common understanding, and also to see, okay, there is value, there is a payback. We need to invest time, we need to invest money, but there is a payback. It will take 2 or 3 years, and we calculated that ourselves. Our production people calculated and can stand behind the payback, and they know what they have to improve, and they will take care. So I think that was a big thing, to have the buy-in and to have this transversal, this ready willingness to collaborate, to do things the same. Although they know that they will have less freedom and so on. But the other thing that motivates is to say, okay, we do pilots, and then we will be able to be much faster. And if we do improvements, we will be able to make this improvement available to everybody. If everybody works on the same solution, you're developing the same wheel 25 times. Everybody goes a bit different. But if you have a common core, you continuously improve, everybody benefits, and also everybody can participate. So I think building this understanding and coalition, and then convincing the top management was a key part of the journey. I think, then this defining an entity that takes care about the standards, about industrializing, about preparing the acceleration phase is also very important, and this team also has to be multidisciplinary. So I think working between different disciplines who not always have worked together, making a team, starting to talk the same language, clarifying well the roles, responsibilities, that is absolutely key to get started and then to be able to speed up, and also between internal, external, to find really roles, responsibility. So this has been the basis.
And so, Guillermo, if I turn to you in your industry, how do you maximize user adoption? So what are the strategies that you apply when you pilot and deploy new solutions to make sure that you accelerate this adoption?
Well, I mean, clearly, Chao and Jax have already discussed the importance of standardization, the importance of the engagement of and accompanying the team when deploying those solutions. I would like to highlight two things. First, I mean, there is obviously the need in the companies. No, you implement a technological change, you embrace a technology solution, and the companies want to be able to measure the impact of this adoption. Okay, so I bought a software, a really smart software. I've invested in this AI application. What's the return that I'm getting? So establishing baseline to be able to compare yourself against is sometimes extraordinarily difficult. I mean, in my industry, for example, the energy consumption for a plant would depend on many things. Amongst them, salinity of the water, the salinity of the incoming water, temperature of the incoming water, membrane age, etc. So I found myself in front of a supplier saying the supplier was claiming that he had saved a crazy amount of money to my operation. I said, you haven't saved a cent. I haven't saved a cent. I do the monthly financial close, and systematically I'm getting the same profit as last year when your solution was not there. So where is your saving? And he was claiming that the baseline I was working with in this year was not the same one as last year, and that's debatable. But understanding your baseline is critical. It's super difficult when it comes to AI because it's generally, at least in my experience, an AI tool, the one that defines the baseline, whereas what I'm used to is going to an Excel file and being able to define what my baseline is. So, I mean, my baseline is that. This is the cell I need to compare my result against. So if my previous energy consumption was 3.2, and today my energy consumption is 3.13, so I've saved 0.07. But it doesn't work like this with this type of solution. So being able to establish the saving is critical, and to do that, establishing the baseline is very complicated. So that would be one. And the second thing I would probably highlight is that for all the adoption of technology that we have been implementing, particularly in the area that I manage, and with the solutions that we have been co-developing with Schneider, we have made sure that those solutions are developed by our teams, by operators, by the final user. So the final user has a crucial leading role in the development of those solutions, and that facilitates a lot the implementation, because if you have been working on a tool and then this tool is deployed, you are not going to be resistant to the embracing, adopting this tool. So you're going to be more inclined to working with that tool that you have been an active member in its generation. So I wanted to highlight those two aspects.
Thank you. So Jürgen, you touch a bit on the actual readiness of organization to start deploying AI projects. Now, if all of us wants to get organized, structure to be able to reap the benefit at scale, what would be your piece of advice to manufacturer to start preparing their organization to get the benefit at scale of AI in industries?
There's two main aspects from my perspective. The first one is understand the story your data tells you. So don't chase the white rabbit through forests in the hope to generate savings which does not exist. So that is where many people get lost in translation. So really try to understand that story. And the second thing for me, which is the more important one even, is what we call enablement. So AI tools tend to give people information they actually don't need. A good operator in Guillermo's control room, he can read his gauges and he can interpret what the gauge tells him. But you need to give him literally what he doesn't know, and this is what is the best course of action for the situation you are in right now. Because he has about 1 million options what he could do. So it is extremely difficult to determine what is that. And this is what often in these projects get lost, is the people working with digital teams, and the digital teams say, hey, we have done a design thinking workshop and we need this super cool interface. And then you go in the control room and the guy looks at it and says, like, what's that? I never asked for that. What I need is this, and this. And then I can make a better decision. And we, to Guillermo's terms, we are more efficient, we save more energy, and we have an actual bottom line value generated. And so this is a very key thing, is by all the technologies, we forget the human in the equation. And we need to give the human who has to press the button or call someone the right information. And that's what so often is lost, because we're getting hung up in the love and the passion to technology and forget what is actually really necessary on the shop floor. And that is where, at the end of the day, the change happens, not in an office on the 57th floor. It is down on the shop floor where we manufacture and produce the stuff, and where we assure that we get the right quality at the end of the line, because this is where we make money. We're not making money with AI. AI is there to help us make more money, but it's not the one which makes the money. It's still the people today. And that's why it's, for me, these two things: understand the story the data tells you, and then enable your people to have the right information to make the right decisions.
That's just so one. I think it's a very, very important point. And you, I just wanted to add one thing. You sometimes find the reluctance in your teams to adopt technology, because the first impression that the people have is, wow, if now an AI software, very smart software, ends up taking decisions that I used to be taking, and probably in, maybe not today, but in 2 years tops, the software will learn and will be making a way smarter decisions that I am capable of doing, I lose my job eventually. Well, one thing is for sure: if you don't learn to work with AI, you will lose your job for sure. that is a given. So you need to embrace that technology, because that will make you a better professional. One, and then just making sure that the people embrace that technology in a way that is not threatening. Yeah, that's a very important aspect.
Guillermo. So we'll soon be ready to take some questions. I know we have Eddie Lombard here who is ready to have some questions, but I just would like to wrap up a bit. So what you've seen here across the journey is how industrial companies in different sectors, running 50, 80 factories worldwide, get organized right from the beginning with clearly a strong intention to succeed. The first small step that they are taking, piloting, building the team, building the organization, getting user adoption so that they actually get the results, and then progressively engaging in a journey where they maximize the outcomes that they get from all the information that they are collecting, and leveraging the capabilities that AI brings on top of all the software and so on. So thank you to the four of you for sharing your journey. And now I think we are open to take some questions. Maybe Eddie, the first one? I think there is a question over there. If someone has a mic, yes, the young guy here. Ah, yes, wait, Eddie. We cannot hear you so far.
Which is the channel for?
Understand. Yeah, okay. Maybe for Jacques, because I'm well aware about Nexans and what we have done so far with Nexans. And Jacques, yeah, do you hear me? Yeah. Well, why did you decide to embrace such transformation at scale? knowing that you will face difficulties. And why did you decide to embrace this such transformation at scale?
Well, because we believe it's a multiplier, no? So you build up a core. You have calculated business cases up front. You will confirm them with the pilots. You will industrialize, and then you will roll out at higher speed. So we believe that we can get a very big benefit. We can improve operational excellence substantially, and at the same time also energy usage, so sustainability, and asset usage. So there is a multiple benefit effect. And also I think it's very healthy for the company, for a group of factories to start speaking the same language, to start working in similar ways. Because then you have this community of key users or power users that can collaborate, exchange, and that can propose improvements. And these improvements can be prioritized by this community and then roll out for everybody. So you have a multiplier effect that is huge. Apart from the fact that you get really organization, structure, you start measuring things in the same way. You can benchmark your factories. So you are going to incentivize everybody to be improving continuously. I think there is a huge benefit on the midterm.
I think it's the perfect answer, and I suppose that all the people around us now are ready to start that transformation and moving from pilot, proof of concept to real digital transformation at scale for the value.
Thank you for your question, Eddie. Are there any other questions from the crowd? Anyone else? I think it was just super clear. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Guillermo, Chao, Jacques, and Jürgen for taking a bit of your time with us today and sharing about your journey. We look forward for you to come back in a few years and understand where you are. I mean, we can make an update probably because it's not over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.